Hello, beautiful teachers. How are you? Okay, so we are here for, I think it's technically our first research roundup in the Pregnancy Pilates IMPACT group. So I'm really excited to get back to these. It takes a lot of time and preparation for them, so I apologize for being a half an hour later than I said I was going to be, but I had to add everything that I could, and then I even decided to make this a part 1 of 2 because there's so many pieces to this that I want to make sure we get right. So this subject is going to be about miscarriage and exercise, okay? And I have 3 resources for you. And in the comments, after I'm done, and you're rewatching this, and I'll put the link to all my notes. Okay, so you'll have those, and then we will make this a piece in your membership library with all the research roundups, so that you have a place that you can go back, you can watch it, you can listen to it, and I'll have all the notes there as well. Okay, so here we go. Research roundup for May 2019 on miscarriage and exercise. So we're going to put to rest once and for all the fear that exercise causes miscarriage, okay? So I'm going to go through some facts and statistics on miscarriage right now. So first of all, 15 to 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage before the 21st week of pregnancy. It is a common occurrence, okay? And this is across the board, ACOG, Mayo Clinic, OBGYNs. This is a conclusive number, okay? Second, the #1 cause of miscarriage is chromosomal abnormalities that a woman has no control over, okay? Most of the time, a woman does not have control over the miscarriage. Something like 75% is caused by these chromosomal abnormalities, okay? And then the rest of it is, I know that there are some issues with a woman's age, okay, I think that's coming up here. And if a woman has more than 3 in a row, but I don't want you to get too wrapped up in all the other reasons why, okay? All right, miscarriage is considered normal unless a woman has had 3 or more miscarriages in a row before the age of 35, and it's considered normal unless she's had 2 or more miscarriages in a row over the age of 40, okay? So age does play a role because as you get older, the chromosomes change, hormonal levels change. I know hormonal levels, especially progesterone, have a lot to do with this as well, all right? Miscarriage is an emotional experience for both women and their partners, many times grieving the loss of their dream to have a baby. We're going to talk more about this in part 2, actually extensively in part 2, okay? Today, we're just talking about the specifics of and debunking the myth that if any fear that exercise, especially Pilates, and what you're teaching can cause a miscarriage, okay? That's what we're doing in this one, is totally debunking that myth, and with the idea that, with the outcome that you will be able to walk away from this confidently being able to work with a pregnant woman and have 100% assurance that anything you do is not going to have her have a miscarriage or cause a miscarriage, okay? That's the goal today. Okay. More facts and statistics. Moderate to hard exercise and continuing an exercise routine of running or other high impact activity in the first trimester has no effect on whether or not a woman is going to have a miscarriage. This research is done by Dr. James Clapp, the author of Exercising Through Your Pregnancy, and we'll go through that one at the end. The benefits of modified exercise during pregnancy surpasses the risks and is recommended unless it is medically necessary to cease exercise due to complications in the pregnancy. I spelled do there wrong. Okay, and modified Pilates is recommended as a safe form of exercise for women to do in their first, second, and third trimesters. Okay, so now we're gonna go over these specific pieces of research. Okay, I've got 3 of them here. The first one is the committee opinion from the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists. That's the ACOG. That's kind of like your overseeing board for the United States of what they have found to be safe, not safe in women's health. And they conducted this committee opinion meeting in December of 2015. Okay, so that's about 4 years ago, which is, I mean, that's recent. And it is called their committee opinion on physical activity and exercise during pregnancy and the postpartum period, okay? So here are the highlights of that opinion. For number 1, pregnancy is an ideal time for maintaining or adopting a healthy lifestyle, okay? Ideal time. Second, physical activity has minimal risks and has been shown to benefit most women, although some modifications to exercise routines may be necessary because of normal anatomic and physiological changes and fetal requirements, okay? And we know that. That's what we learn, okay? That's what we're sharing here is the modifications. All right? Women with uncomplicated pregnancies should be encouraged to engage in aerobic and strength conditioning exercises before, during, and after pregnancy, all right? And despite the fact that pregnancy is associated with profound anatomical and physiological changes, exercise has minimal risks and has been shown to benefit most women. The most common sports-related injuries in pregnancy are musculoskeletal, by and large related to lower extremities, edema, which is swelling, and that's at about 80%, and joint laxity, okay? So what that means is if there's injuries, if there's anything wrong with it in an uncomplicated pregnancy, it's things like sprained ankles, or if a woman is swelling, they recommend elevating the legs. And actually movement helps with the swelling a lot. We have that in the manual. So a quick story just to kind of show this. I usually heal really fast. When I was pregnant, I was like in my 3rd trimester, and I was actually here in the studio, and I stepped on, I don't know if it was a piece of paper or something, and my leg came out from under me. So basically did like that, like this, okay? Just slid my leg out, and I pulled my inner thigh area so bad I had to like wrap it for 2 weeks, okay? What really became a learning point for me there, and putting everything that I'm learning and applying it to myself, was that number 1, pregnant women are more susceptible to injury, okay, because of several factors. Gravity, our balance, okay, our balance gets off, the laxity in the muscles, ligaments, everything. I know that had a lot to do with it. And then it takes longer to heal, okay? So that's where the concerns are, is more about injury. And so that's why we teach, like for example, keeping leg circles very close to the body, okay? So generally, if you're doing leg circles, you're not going to take them way out here, okay? You'll keep them very close in towards the midline. And we're going for, that's why we teach hug the baby, and we're so big with hug the baby and breathing, so that we can really build that core strength that moms are going to need so much, because their whole bodies are becoming lax, okay? So, still on ACOG here, okay? The following exercises are safe to initiate or continue in women with uncomplicated pregnancies in consultation with an obstetric care provider, their OBGYN or medical professional. And they are walking, swimming, stationary cycling, low impact aerobics, yoga modified, and it says yoga positions that result in decreased venous return and hypotension should be avoided as much as possible. This is such as like headstands, lying on the back, plank positions, okay? And then Pilates modified is in here, okay? And this is taken straight from the exercise recommendations. I want to point out that modified Pilates does not have any asterisk next to it. There's nothing like warning you about it, unlike yoga where there is warnings, okay? Now, these next three, the following are recommended only if a woman has participated in these activities regularly before pregnancy and in consultation with an obstetric care provider. Okay, that's running or jogging, strength training, and racket sports. And with racket sports, it says any sport such as this, wherein a pregnant woman's changing balance may affect rapid movements and increase the risk of falling, should be avoided as much as possible. So again, even with this list, okay, it's not a concern of miscarriage. It's a concern of injury to the pregnant woman's body, physiological injury, okay? That's all. Exercise does not cause miscarriage. The number one reason miscarriages happen is because of chromosomal abnormalities that a woman does not have control over, okay? So, that's the ACOG, okay? Now, in this next one, this is building a really great case for the benefits of Pilates. I was really excited to find this. This research was conducted in October of 2017. A study was done out of the hospital university in, let's see if I can pronounce this. It's a Spanish word. Ceuta? I don't know. Ceuta in Spain, okay? So it was conducted in Spain on the effectiveness of a physical activity program based on the Pilates method in pregnancy and labor, okay? So the study involved two groups of pregnant women in their second and third trimesters, okay? One group who participated in an 8-week Pilates program and one group who did not participate, all right? Compared to the non-Pilates group, the following benefits were observed. Increased pelvic floor muscle strength, which resulted in a reduction of necessary episiotomies, which is the slit they have to cut to increase the baby's exit. Increased grip strength, which I thought was interesting. Increased ischial flexibility, so you're in the gluteal area, okay? Which seemed to help with labor. A reduction in the use of epidural analgesia, so they didn't have to have epidurals, a reduction in it. A reduction in the number of cesarean sections and difficult births. And they found there were no risks to the newborn, okay? So this study is building a really great case for the benefits of Pilates, okay? This is to help you strengthen your case if you have any fear around miscarriage and teaching Pilates or causing it, and to build a really strong case for any moms that you may have. Here's the thing that I've been hearing a lot is that about miscarriage. I don't have any experience with miscarriage, okay? I just have the experience of infertility, actually not being able to get pregnant. One of our members, and actually my one of my former students, alumni of our training, who's now a doula, Emily Gallica, and she is she's married now, and I'm totally blanking on her last name now. Sorry, Emily. But she is a doula, and she recently had a miscarriage, and she openly talked about it in a Facebook Live that I'm going to go ahead and link up for you, because this is a subject that we are going to talk about in part 2 about the emotional side of miscarriage, okay? That we have to take into account. And then we'll also talk about when a woman can begin exercises again after she has a miscarriage, okay? So again, we are building a case for the safety in Pilates and the fact that it will not only does it not cause miscarriage or contribute to miscarriage, there are so many beautiful benefits, and we teach pre-Pilates as safe to do, even in the most sensitive situations. Okay, for example, I had a client who had partial placenta previa. Okay, so that's where, okay, so if this, let's say this is the birth canal, vagina, okay, this, and then up here is the top of the womb, okay? The placenta is usually up here, okay, and then the baby's here, okay? With placenta previa, the placenta is at, did I say the placenta or the uterus? The placenta is usually up here, yeah. And then the placenta in placenta previa comes down here near the vagina. And so the concern is that the placenta will come out of the vagina somehow, and they'll have they'll bleed out. It's a scary thing, okay? So partial previa is where it's just partially, okay, close to the vagina. So I had a client with partial previa. Her doctor told her don't exercise, okay? My client is an athlete and she wanted to do something. So she came into the studio, and the advice was not to do anything causing a lot of pressure. So we did pre-Pilates. We did breathing, we did, these arm exercises, we did very light movement, no weight, everyday activity kind of things, but just moving. So this shows the extreme, how safe Pilates is compared to every other kind of exercise out there. That's why I believe so strongly in Pilates during and after pregnancy, because it is the safest form of exercise, okay? Okay, so here's one of my favorite studies because it really debunks all of this once and for all, okay? These two studies were conducted in 1989 and 1994. Now remember back then even though, it was over 20 years ago, but even then, they just didn't know a lot. And so Dr. James Clapp, who wrote Exercising Through Your Pregnancy, he conducted these studies. And he conducted them with hard exercising women, so athletes, aerobics, runners, like marathon runners. And he found that, so let's see. Okay, in his research, so he took a large group of non-exercising women, and a large group of hard exercising women, runners, athletes, high impact aerobics. He found that not only does exercise not cause miscarriage, the non-exercising group had more miscarriages than the exercising group. And he says in his book that he found that there may be some reasons for that, such as the exercising group had monogamous relationships, and so there weren't a lot of diseases, because certain diseases can contribute to miscarriage. But that is fascinating, right? The point is that exercising does not cause miscarriage, okay? In the first 21 weeks and below, and now, so the only thing that they say about like 21 weeks and beyond, which is very unlikely that in that case it would be called a stillbirth, but the only concerns there are high contact sports, so such as basketball, anything where there could be an abrupt hit to the uterus and to the baby. That's the only concern there, for physical concerns, all right? But I mean, the baby is really safe in that womb, all right? So, so his research also included whether or not exercise caused abnormalities in the fetus, birth defects, it also included whether there were placenta problems, such as previa, if exercise caused this, and ectopic pregnancies. Dr. Clapp included that there is no evidence in his studies or any other study that healthy women need to change their exercise habits when they plan to conceive. So he also talked about during conception, or when a woman's trying to get pregnant, or during early pregnancy in order to get pregnant easily, or reduce the risk of miscarriage, tubal pregnancy, birth defect, or placental disease, So if a woman is a runner, that's what she does, and she's trying to get pregnant, and she gets pregnant, and in her first trimester, she can still run if she wants to. There's no evidence that this causes miscarriage. Now, here's a personal story. Back in 2014, when I got pregnant, I had actually been running I had started running, and I was running for about 2 or 3 months. And it's ironic, I was actually going through another bout of depression back then. And I was I was trying a different medication, and that medication was making me really anxious, and it wasn't really working well. And so I was trying to run to the natural endorphins and all that stuff, right? Because they say that exercise is just as effective as medication for depression. So that's what I was trying to do. Well, I was running and I got pregnant. After 8 years of infertility, I got pregnant. And the only thing different that I was doing was exercising harder. I'm not a runner. I wasn't a runner. I was a dancer. It's the only thing I was doing differently. And then, of course, I said my prayer. And I got pregnant. Now, I chose to stop running because in my head, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be like bouncing up and down with the risk of loosening up the fetus from the uterus. Now, it sounds like logical, right? But I'm telling you, like, that fetus is so safe inside that womb that a woman does not need to worry about that. Now, When the fetus gets bigger, then it's more about a comfort thing. Then it's more about worrying about the prolapse, those types of things, incontinence, those types of things. Because then again, we're talking about physiological changes and concerns with injury to the pregnant woman, not the fetus, okay? The fact that a woman can even make a baby is a miracle, okay? So that baby, for the most part, is going to be safe in that womb. That womb was created, evolved to be safe, okay? And if something doesn't go right, it's not because of what the mom has done. There's a great podcast episode that I was listening to this morning to prepare for this that I will link up in the comments as well and in the notes. I'm going to give you, again, access to my notes that I was using. That's also where I will add these links to Emily's story about her miscarriage and the podcast episode, because it's the V word, something like that is the name of the podcast. These two female OBGYNs talk about everything about health, like vaginal health, women's health. And they were talking about miscarriage, saying that obviously they can't do a study on a pregnant woman drinking to see like if alcohol causes miscarriage or if smoking causes miscarriage. Like, it's hard to do a study like that. So again, here's the conclusion. Okay. Pre and postnatal Pilates teacher recommendations for pregnant clients. Okay. This is to put your mind at rest once and for all. Okay. And we can conclude, okay, as pre and postnatal Pilates professionals, that clients with uncomplicated pregnancies and in consultation with their birthing professional, if that is your policy, we can confidently recommend the following exercise. Pilates modified, okay, with a teacher who is educated in pre and postnatal Pilates, okay, that's you. Okay, other recommendations: walking, swimming, stationary cycling, and low impact aerobics without jumping or jarring motions, okay? Maybe easy dancing could be in here too, all right? And then again, we have to remember everyday movements, okay? What is mom doing throughout her day? If she's got kids, she's picking up toddlers and doing, so those are the things we have to think about as well, okay? So now that we know that Pilates does not cause or contribute to miscarriage, we still need to look closely at the emotional side of miscarriage and how we can support our clients through this loss, okay? In part 2, we will explore this, plus when it is safe for a woman to come back to Pilates after a miscarriage, okay? So that's it. I don't think we have any comments yet. So there we are. There's our first research roundup. Pilates does not contribute to miscarriage, okay? If you get anything out of this session, know that. Start to believe it, know it, because here's the problem, is if there's even an inkling of fear that what you're doing is going to cause a miscarriage, it's going to hold you back from even moving forward to 100% to your best of your ability, okay? The things you have to be cautious of are the physiological things, which in the Easy Reference Guide, or if you've taken the comprehensive training, we teach you all of that, okay? That's what this is all about, modified Pilates. That's where the word modified comes from, okay? So let me know if you have questions. Let me know your comments. Let me know if you have any more resources about this, and if you have any personal experiences that you want to share, or clients. and I will start to prepare part 2, which we'll probably do next week sometime. Thank you so much for what you do, okay? Again, know that every single one of you is so important in the lives of pre and postnatal women and the people that are in your circle, in your area, okay? And you are needed, and you just keep moving forward with what you're doing to help women, because we know that Pilates is the best form of exercise for them, and you are the expert in this, okay? Remember, all you have to be is one step ahead, okay, to be able to help someone. Have an amazing weekend, and you have the calendar now, which I'm really excited about, and we're gonna get this membership rolling like it should be. Have an amazing day, weekend. Love you all.